Hey there, Synth Drones. Today we're going to be talking about Behringer haters. Hi, I'm Pure Ambient Drone, and this is my channel where I talk about synthesizers. If you haven't already done so, hit the subscribe button, tap that bell, so that you can keep up with all of my synth adventures. Well, it's raining outside. The roads are wet, kind of slick, nasty and cold outside, but it's a great night for a little bit of a drive, heading over to the hospital to see a relative that is not doing so good. But with that being said, I want to talk about the Behringer synthesizers that are coming out and their drum machines. Been going through some social media today, and it's not the first time I ran into this, but reading comments about how Behringer is copying everybody else's synthesizers and that there's nothing original, that they're copycats, just little snide remarks about that. And you know, it's really funny because years ago I was looking at some videos and remembering people begging Roland on these videos about their 808s and 909s, begging Roland, and they're leaving comments, and it's not even a Roland video, it's just a video about a Roland product. People saying things like, please Roland, bring back the 909, bring back the 808. And what did they do? They brought it back in digital form, which, by the way, I think they sound absolutely great, okay? But here's Behringer giving synth drones what they want, okay? And what we've been begging for and what we've been craving for. So I don't think a real synth drone would complain about that, okay? So I exclude those kind of people from being a synth drone, okay? It's official, okay? Pure Ambient Drone has just given the word. If you're complaining about an analog drum machine that's made in the image of a classic such as the 909 or the 808, and it performs as good or close to it, I don't see how you could be a synth drone, okay? But now, I have heard this drum machine, and not in person, of course, but on videos, and it sounds like they're going to be doing something a little bit more than just what the original 808s and 909s could do. Sounds like they're going to be putting compression in there and some other tricks. Of course, it's going to have some USB functions as well. So all of that's going to be exciting to see when it comes out. And let's not forget about the OBXA remake that Behringer's going to be doing too. But isn't it kind of funny that when a company comes out and they bring out something like their Model D, okay, the Behringer D, and they mimic the Model D from Moog, isn't it kind of funny how they bring it out there at a price point that just about any synth drone can afford, okay? And then you got people that hate on it because it's not original. And these same people would probably hate the fact that they couldn't afford the traditional Moog Model D. I just don't understand why, when a price is low, that people think that something is junk. I just don't get that. Especially when you plug one of these things up and you play with them and you make tracks with them and you realize, wow, this thing is actually worth more than what they're asking for. See, I did a video on the Model D, or on the Behringer D when it first came out, and I got one. And in that video, I thought it was worth more money. And I jokingly said, look, Behringer, if you're listening, don't raise the prices because people would be mad at me. But it's kind of funny how people will jump on a company for low prices and hate on them. But then when another company comes out and they overcharge for a synth, then people want to defend them. It just seems like people do not want to hang on to their money. And I remember somebody telling me, and by the way, this person who told me this is a millionaire. They told me that the reason why there's so many rich people in the world is because there's even more poor people in the world who are ready and willing to give them their money, okay? And he said, note the word give. Give. Rarely, he said, do rich people earn their money. That's what he said. I didn't say that, okay? Nothing against rich people. I wish I was one of them, okay? But with all that being said, it just seems like there's a lot of hate going out for Behringer. And I understand that, because if the people hating on Behringer cannot afford their synthesizers, what can they afford in the synth world? Because they have some of the most affordable gear that's on the market right now, considering what it does. You got the DeepMind series that went from $999 to $699 for a 12-voice analog synth, and you can't say that that's not worth it. Okay, $699 for a 12-voice analog synthesizer. Then you got the Behringer D, which absolutely sounds phenomenal, along with the Neutron, which sounds phenomenal. So let's wait for these guys to get these things out, and let's look at the build quality, and let's look at the price, and let's forget about the fact that they're copying something from yesteryear. I'm glad that somebody's doing it. Somebody is listening to us. Somebody has heard that we want these. Now, have you guys checked out the prices of some of these vintage synthesizers? Just did a video on how I'm done with it, but you know, buying any of those, the prices are just going up, up, and up. You know what I'm saying? The Roland SY22, fantastic machine. I got it sub $800, sold it for $1,300 and change. I mean, come on. The market is ripe for it. There's people out there that are buying these vintage gear synthesizers, and they're paying quality price for them. But now Behringer is going to be bringing them back. Now, will they sound identical to yesteryear's synths? I don't see how that's even possible. I mean, it's hard to get the lightning back into the bottle, right? However, I think that they're going to introduce their own character to it in the process of trying to make it sound like the classic synths do. I just don't think that they're going to be able to do it 110%, okay, guys? So I'm not even expecting that. I could be wrong. I kind of hope that I am wrong. I would love to have for them to do that. But with that being said, you know, if you watch some of the pro videos that are out there, one in particular person said on their video, if you ever get an 808 and you plug it up dry without any effects whatsoever, you might be surprised that it doesn't really sound like the 808 that you're used to on the hit records that it was used on. And that's because of all the processing and the compression and all the other stuff that they have to use, the EQ, blah, blah, blah. And so it looks like Behringer's taking that into account, and so they're adding some extras on in order to make this beast sound a little bit better on their 80, you know, with their 808s and their 909s I'm referring to. So, and I'm looking forward to the other clones that they're coming out with too. Anyway, we have arrived at the hospital where we're going to go visit a loved one and a friend, okay? So keep them in your prayers, if you will, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Tap that bell. You'll keep up with all of my vlogs on here. Until next time, keep calm and synth on.